Welcome to Fashion Show Reaction with facial recognition, where we react to fashion show videos, but with a twist. We apply facial recognition technology so that we can identify the models. For our first episode covering menswear for the spring and summer 2026 season, we're going to react to Giorgio Armani's collection. Are you ready? Here we go. After Dolce & Gabbana's pajama party and Prada's boy onesies, we were really looking forward to some fit, square-jawed models and some serious clothes from Giorgio Armani. We got the models, but maybe it is a lot colder in Milan in the summer than we understand because this does not feel much like a summer collection to us. Don't get us wrong, there are some beautiful looks here, and we're going to flag 4 honorable mentions in addition to our best look of the show for you. But if you swap the sandals for closed shoes, this could be a fall and winter collection, as it includes sweaters and not one pair of shorts. That said, the quality of the show video is stellar, and the computer did some great work with identifications from the 120 different looks. We stepped in and helped a few times, but he only have 12 unidentified models out of a really large show. Pay attention to the interesting style of belt that is used on many of the looks. We will highlight this on our best look pick where it is easier to see. Kind of Western, kind of nautical, and very interesting. Here Randy gives us an example of how this collection overdresses for summer with his extra vest on top of a long sleeve shirt. Check out Thatcher and Henry presenting what can only be described as sweaters in a summer collection. Don't get me wrong, you still need suits for summer, but probably not sweaters. And oh my goodness, if you have not noticed already, it is all pleated pants. What do you think about Kit Butler with slick-backed hair? Long gives us about a summer of a look, as we have seen. But we skipped over this look to get to our first honorable mention. Funny how the lightness of the fabric overcomes the lack of sandals to get this look into a summer mood. Here we go with our pick for best look of the show. Here's a great look at the belt I mentioned earlier. Even though this top feels a little like a sweater, the weave of the fabric keeps the look cool, and we love the hat and backpack. But then check this out. 2 looks later, we are right back into a double-breasted suit, unbuttoned of course. And here is a trench coat in a summer collection. Maybe I was expecting a little closer to resort wear, but we live where the summer is very hot, and some of these looks are just so heavy. Another trench coat. To check out how long the coat is on Hyun's suit, from which we flow right into a leather look ensemble, again with pleated pants. We have numbered the unknown models. If you know who any of them are, please let us know in the comments. Facial recognition technology is only as good as the training data, and obviously we are missing 12 models here. Then in Anai's case, we had to step in and do a manual override. Mark Vanderloo missed the memo about staring down the camera at the end of the runway. But is that something you need to be reminded about? We are big fans of Armani's habit of launching pairs down the runway. But if you were a straight couple, what would you think if either of you pitched this matchy-matchy duo for date night? Unknown number 5's belly sticking out below. His vest feels a little sloppy. But then we have Eduardo lighten up yet another suit with an open shirt. There is some summer peeking out here, and I would say at least these are not pajamas, but there are some of those coming later, so I will hold my tongue. There are a couple of suit looks presented with the coat off. Here John has his on his bag, and later we see a coat over his shoulder. Nice touch. Then we get another couple that match, but this time the outfits are not exactly the same. Much better. Here we go with our second honorable mention. If it is summer, you might as well have the guns out and look like the rich owner of a tobacco farm. Julian Schneider needs to be cast as the villain in the next James Bond movie wearing this exact look. Then we miss both members of the couple. But here comes our third honorable mention. The neck buttoned all the way up does not scream summer, but this and the next look are very classy for casual wear, even if the second has a misplaced sweater. Please tell us if you agree with our picks for honorable mentions, or if maybe you think one of them should have been the best look of the show. Again, not very summerish, but check how the lapel on this look presented by Habib gives the look some flair. But not a big fan of the dangly bits hanging off the belts of the next three looks. We are entering a somber, gray portion of the show. Note how the gray takes a darker turn after Agnes and Max introduce a little pale blue into the mix. If you're enjoying applying facial recognition to a fashion show, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Remember when I said there would be some pajamas later? Here we are getting closer. Do you think someone on Giorgio's team says, I heard Stefano and Domenico are doing all pajamas, then the next thing you know Armani pajamas show up in the mix? Not quite yet, but hold on. We have more suits to get through. Jeremy Ishiano, who did the casting for this show, must really like George because they put him in not only our first honorable mention, but out fourth. Okay, I know this is a sweater, but I'm a sucker for matchy colors and more of the same in the next look without quite the same effect. And we finally get to a suit that is presented as for a hot summer. Where are his arms? Let us let the computer do its work to get us through the last third of the show. But wait 1 second. Why do we have knit beanies in a spring and summer show? Dylan and James look amazing, but maybe for a different season. Do these look like the chicest scrubs for a doctor and her nurse to you? But then the hues of the shirt and jacket do not coordinate well. Help me out here on these next two looks. Is this the sweater of the outfit tied around them? If so, that is the craziest way to tie a sweater ever. On the upside, someone who could not afford these outfits could go budget by mimicking this sweater tying scheme. And here we are yet again talking about sweaters in a spring and summer collection. Like I said, it must be colder than San Francisco and Milan. Wait, here are a couple of looks that have a nice, light, airy feeling. Now we are talking. And remember I told you pajamas were coming? Well, here they are, and I have to say, not quite as interesting as the Dolce & Gabbana pajamas. I never would have thought when I drove past an elementary school bus stop full of kids wearing pajamas a decade ago that the concept would percolate up to high fashion. But that is how it works sometime, isn't it? Bottom to top instead of top to bottom. You can kind of see why there are so many looks in this show. Here are almost identical suits presented with two different shirts. I lied. There are a couple of pairs of shorts in this collection. And I think unknown number 12 has more muscles in his calves than the entire cast of the Prada show. For the record, we have nothing against some black in a spring and summer collection. Knit beanies, yes, but no problem with black itself. And we're getting some black looks here. This show is different in that they do not do a parade, but instead have all the models come out and stand by the back wall. We have to say that we are worried by the fact that instead of the master Armani himself making an appearance at the end of the show, we have Leo Dell'Orco, who has run Armani Menswear for 45 years. We hope all is well in the house of Armani. See you next episode.